afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Auburn Avenue Research Library to our 2025 Conference for Collecting, Writing, and Researching. My name is Shakia Garrett. I am the administrative coordinator here, and I will be moderating the panel Needle on a Record, and our focus is on Black music store owners. Here with us, we have Brittany Newberry from Georgia State University. She's an archivist, the archivist there. Tobago Benito, he's also a record store owner of DBS Sounds. We have Minister Server, who I now can affectionately call the hip hop grandfather. Did I say that right?
About grandpa.
Grandpa.
You got to rhyme it.
Yes. And we have Eric Hall, co-founder of CratesATL Records, which is a vinyl DJ experience. And it is an experience. I had the opportunity to meet with a few of them separately, and I had too much fun because I'm a fan of hip hop. If you're not a fan of hip hop, you are listening to the wrong panel. I'll tell you a little bit about each one and share a little bit of my experience and then give them an opportunity to share. So I'll start with Tobago Benito. He is a visionary entrepreneur, music industry advocate, and community leader dedicated to empowering Black-owned businesses and preserving cultural legacies through music and mentorship. Born in Arima, Trinidad, and raised in Queens, New York, Mr. Benito migrated to Atlanta, Georgia in '93, where he has built a multifaceted career spanning retail, real estate, and nonprofit initiatives. Benito founded DBS Sounds in 1984, establishing it as a cornerstone independent record store in Riverdale, Georgia, specializing in hip-hop, R&B, neo-soul, gospel, pop, reggae, pop, rock, and reggae. The store has achieved millions in record sales over 3 decades, serving as a vital hub for music enthusiasts and artists alike. Under his leadership, DBS Sounds has hosted high-profile events, in-store performances, album release parties, and collaborations with independent and major labels, solidifying its reputation as a pillar in Atlanta's music scene. The store's enduring success has been recognized through features in outlets like Billboard Magazine, WABE, and the Music Biz podcast, and it actively participates in Record Store Day celebrations. So give it up for Tobago Benito.
Thank you.
Brittany Newberry is the music and popular cultural archivist at Georgia State University. Prior to working at Georgia State, she worked as a processing archivist at the Atlanta University Center Robert W. Woodruff Library. In her current role, she serves as the curator of the music and popular culture collections held in GSU's Special Collections and Archives. Say that 3 times fast. She acquires and preserves materials documenting 20th century and 21st century American music and culture, focusing on Atlanta, Georgia, and the South, making them available for research and providing outreach to university, scholarly, and local communities. Brittany is an active member of the Society of American Archivists and the Society of Georgia Archivists. During her career, she has presented on various conference panels and has given several presentations on different projects, such as her work with African American Archives, hip-hop archives, virtual archives, and donor relations. Brittany actively researches and pursues professional interests, African American archives, social justice, and archival activism, student-centered archives, and donor relations, which I want to know more about also. So give it up for Brittany Newberry. More about Minister Server. So Minister Server, Tavares, all right, AKA the dopest hip-hop grandpop. That's, you got to say all that, right? Put some respect on his name. A hip-hop cultural strategist, a dynamic leader with spiritual conviction, inspirational skills, and practical solutions. He is a committed leader with integrity who has spent over 40 years dedicated to the development, growth, and preservation of hip-hop culture around the world. In '92, he began working with Nation Time Syndicate, Inc., a faith-based hip-hop movement in Atlanta, Georgia, a collective of artists, organizers, activists, teachers, leaders, and businesses. Through NTS, he utilized his skills as a writer, photographer, organizer, strategist, MC, host, activist, consultant, inspirational speaker, and executive director. Is there anything we don't have that you've done? No, okay. In '03, Minister Server, what's that? Nation Time, we'll keep that back. He graduated from the Barbara King School of Ministry School in Atlanta, Georgia. He was immediately hired as a spiritual advisor at hip-hop pioneer KRS-One, an appointed leader, minister, and national organizer with the Temple of Hip Hop, MASS movement. So we'll have to hear some more about that. He currently serves as spiritual advisor to the Universal Zulu Nation, Trinity TOHH International Hip Hop Festival, the Hip Hop Museum, Hip Hop Bridge Builders LLC, and many other organizations. He has lectured at many colleges, universities, schools, and community groups about the meaning, purpose, and importance of hip hop culture beyond entertainment. So give it up for Minister Sir. All right, so last but not least, we have Eric Hall. He and DJ Princess Cut are the co-founders of Scratch Out Loud, vinyl DJ experience. He's born in the Bronx. He's the engine behind Scratch Out Loud, a lover of art, music, and all things creative. He grew up immersed in the origins of hip-hop, graffiti, and breakdancing, spending countless hours making tapes in his grandmother's basement. As a natural dot connector, his passion for hip-hop and his love for community have never faded. By merging charity work and cultural events, E-Hall continues to keep the culture alive, one event at a time. So give it up for our panel here. So, as I said, I had an opportunity to spend some time with a few of you, and I had a really great time. It kind of touched on the kid in me growing up listening to hip hop. You know, I had the cassette tapes. I took the paper out of the cassette tape to memorize the songs. That was me. Breaking was my movie. I hurt myself many times. So I guess the first question to all of you is, how did you get to this point? What was the thing that led you to the path of what you do? We'll start with you, Eric.
So I would say for myself and where I'm at today, always been a lover of music. That's just like been ingrained in me. I met Cut when I first moved down to Atlanta. We just had a conversation. I would go with her to different events, and I would just see people were just amazed because I'd never seen like a female DJ of color. And one day we were like, there's something there, because people would stare like in amazement. And so we were like,
beautiful too, so,
yeah, because they'd just never seen DJ of color, right? And we were like, we should put together, we should do something about, so we should put together a DJ school, and then we should put together a vinyl DJ school. And so that's how we started in my dining room. We just started with a few records and some turntables, and it just grew from there to where we're at today.
Wonderful. So I had a great time. I came to play on the ones and twos, because that's a side of my life that you all don't know about. And so Eric was showing me the importance of handling the vinyl. Right. And there's a phrase you kept saying repeatedly, not because I'm deaf, but it's because it's something people needed. So it had to do with the needle and the vinyl. Could you tell us what that phrase is?
I would say like gently, carefully.
Yes.
Carefully.
Yes.
And I just phrase that because using vinyl, especially for a certain demographic, this is brand new to them. They've never seen, they're just used to everything being streaming or digital. So you might as well hand them like a Rubik's Cube. They're like, what is this? Right. And so I have to say carefully, put the needle on the record, and I phrase it twice, loudly.
Right.
So they can see it. And then once they get it, because again, they're not used to, if you pick up a needle for the first time, like it's light.
Yes.
And they just don't realize that. And sometimes they grab it like the claw. And so I'm like, we're not gonna do that. Right. Let's go ahead. And then once they figure out, okay, and they get used to holding the needle carefully, placing it on a record carefully, and and they get the hang of it, and they're good from there. But I just and it's really like it's the gamut. It's young and old. I have to say that's a seasoned folks too, because again, they may have seen it, but they've never used it before. And so I just go over the basics, no matter who they are. Right. This is how you hold a record, needle, and all the things.
And carefully.
Carefully.
Carefully. So what I loved about the experience is that you're a great teacher, very patient too, and explained so much about vinyl that I did not know, and we'll hear some more about that. But I was able to mash up a song that was like Biz Marquee, and was it In Vogue or was it Mary J. Blige? I'm trying to remember.
I think it was like Mary J. and Biz.
And Biz.
Opposites. We always say try to do opposites.
How did I do?
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Always,
smooth.
like everyone does wonderful.
No,
Everyone is the
not
winner.
everyone.
You did amazing. You did
We're
amazing.
gonna go to our next panelist now. Come on up, JB. Ladies and gentlemen,
on?
this
All
is
right,
Jonathan
all right.
Blanchard. Let's give him a hand. So Jonathan Blanchard, he is the owner of JB's Record Lounge. He's a multifaceted entrepreneur and musician based in Atlanta, Georgia, and has been involved in the music industry since 2016. JB's Record Lounge is notable for being one of the few black-owned record stores in the industry. Located in the heart of West End, JB's Record Lounge is more than a record store. It's a vibrant performance space and community action hub hosting live music, vinyl parties, and music trivia that celebrate Atlanta's rich musical heritage. This gentleman just got off of the road to get here for us, so can we give him another hand clap? Because Siri is telling on him right now. No, thank you so much for coming. We're doing our introductions of everyone, so you're right on time. So we're going to go to Minister Server. The question applies to you also. How did you go from where you started to here? What led you on this path as it relates to hip-hop?
Yeah, for me, I said I've been around hip-hop before we was even calling it hip-hop. I like to tell the youngins I predate Rapper's Delight. So to get to this path, in all honesty, Spirit directed me to where I am. I was a rapper in high school. I was a DJ in college. When I got with Nation Time Syndicate, they had a bunch of DJs and producers and things that already, and my undergraduate degree is in communication, so I was a writer and a speaker as well. So I started writing, and going from writing to organizing and things of that nature ended up leading me to what I believe is my divine assignment. So when we started doing things outside of just the rap concerts, I started working with the schools and community centers and things of that nature, and then I ended up going to ministry school. And like I said, I was the most unlikely candidate for ministry school, believe me. But when I went, it felt natural. It felt like it was something. I felt like a lot of people in hip-hop were just like me that wanted to find ways to explore spirituality outside of the traditional ways of religion. And I knew in my mind that I was going to serve the Atlanta hip-hop community, a certain segment of the Atlanta hip-hop community. What I didn't know was that in my last year, God was going to whisper in KRS One's ear and tell him that that's your minister, and he was going to come and hire me, and that changed everything. It expanded the work that I was doing here in Atlanta to nationally and then internationally, and I've been doing that work for the last 22 years.
Wonderful.
Right.
Thank you. And Tobago, with you, what was your path from where you got the bug that said, hey, this is something I want to do, or were there pivots to get you to where you are now?
Well, my story started with I from Queens, New York, born in Trinidad but raised in Queens, New York, and transferred down to Atlanta back in 1993 with the airlines. American had bought out TWA and was looking to raise my daughter, she was 2 at the time, and my wife in a home in opposed to renting, and Atlanta presented the opportunity. So while I bought a home June 1st, but it was around after Christmas, 2 days after Christmas, I finally got transferred down. So a friend of mine that I met, more acquaintance at the time, Shabazz, found a book called Think and Grow Rich. And he found it on the plane. We was cleaning the planes. He gave it to me. I read the book. And there's just so many affirmations of, people that had all kinds of limits of what they could do and just showed them still excelling in life. Like, Oprah went through a lot, Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, Blind, all these people, and went along to do great things. So for me, I thought what I like, I always love music. So, I just said, you know what, let me get into that. So we had around January, we had the income tax checks came back, and I asked my wife if she mind if I kept the income tax check. I said I want to buy a telex tape duplicator at the time, and I had DJs that I knew in New York, and I started getting the masters from like DJ Clue and different people like that. It wasn't doing anything. Well, before I get to that, we opened a flea market booth in Clayton County in February. And that's when we get into buying the masters and stuff like that. And then we wasn't doing anything with that. It wasn't just happenstance that DJ Jelly and MC Assault was coming in to open a booth in the same flea market. And I told them I would buy the product from them wholesale in opposed to them opening a booth. And that's where we started. We went from making about $125 a week to where we went over $1,000 and we never looked back with the DJ Jelly, because I was carrying up north, so, but the south was heavy with their music, and Jam Pony and Edward J and all these people here was putting in work. So that's where it started for me. And then I just kept reading books, you know, Smart Think and Grow Rich was the one that sent me, but I'm trying to think of the other book that I read. But I started reading financial books, looking on the back of CDs, calling record companies and things of that nature, and then just going to conferences, meeting like-minded record stores owner, and then I grew from here.
You are now.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Your store recently featured an artist I got an opportunity to meet. And let me tell you, I had a little bit of a fangirl moment, I'll just say. Cardi B came to town, and she was doing her record launch at your store, and I got a chance to meet her. I made her laugh for like a millisecond, and that's all I needed, and I got my picture. So every record store, every store has a unique experience, which is an extension of the owners. And so what I love is that, and I'll get to JB's too, every time I go in, I'm left with something that I want to come back and experience. And it's consistent. And so what I don't think a lot of people realize is that a record store is not just a place to come, get something, and leave, but if you sit a while, you'll have that experience. And I meant to ask you too, Minister Server, you've given hip-hop an acronym. Would you share what that acronym is?
Yeah, there's a lot of acronyms that have been used, but spiritually, like I said, when I was looking for ways to connect with people, to not infringe upon their religion, and, you know, to kind of let people be where they are, which is hip-hop. You know, everything's already exists in hip-hop. So when I was asked in prayer, the acronym that came to me was Higher Infinite Power, Healing Our People. Because every spiritual path fits in that. I don't have to try to convince, coerce, or convert anyone. If your spiritual path doesn't fit in Higher Infinite Power, Healing Our People, we ain't got too much to talk about. You know, so, yeah.
Pretty simple. It gives or it doesn't, right? All right, Mr. Blanchard, thank you again for coming off of the road here to us. Can you tell us where you just came from?
How's everybody doing? We just got back in, myself and my band just got back in from Knoxville. Having to do with the record store, I'm a full-time musician, singer, and I come from librarian stock. My mother was a librarian, and my grandmother was a librarian. So I find myself curating vinyl, curating souls, as I would say. I just came back from Knoxville. I do something called arts integration. I'm a teaching artist. So we basically use music and the arts to teach history and social studies. So the program that I performed today in Knoxville at an elementary school is called From History to Hip Hop, where we span African American music from its inception in the fields all the way up to Sugar Hill Gang. So that's where we are just coming from. I started on this journey as far as the record store is concerned when my wife and I decided we wanted to have a child. And I wanted to be sure that I could pass something on and leave something upon my demise, that there would be something for him at any given time. And I want to start something that would carry me on beyond my singing career, my acting career, and just have that available for the family. That was the primary motivation. There were other motivations as well, being a musician, being an African-American musician, and not always having places to perform. You know, my Caucasian counterparts have places where they can perform and make a living, and you'll never know their name. They have that in between. And I found that for African-American artists, either you are a household name or you're a starving artist. So I said, okay, well, let me provide a space, a venue that is welcoming to artists. We call ourselves the Artist Incubator. We're right over in the West End. And we provide a almost free space, not quite free, for artists to come and have their performances, have their events, and you know, trying to bridge that gap a little bit. And that's pretty much why JB's exists, is to bridge that gap just a little bit.
Thank you for that. And DJ Princess Cut just graced our presence. Thank you also
Hi,
for coming. Let's give it up for her.
everybody. Thank y'all for having me.
Yes. So DJ Princess Cut, she's a native Atlantan and a world travel DJ. She's also the co-founder and master instructor of Scratch Out Loud.
Yes.
Her impressive career spans from being the resident DJ for Neiman Marcus Atlanta to touring the globe with legendary artists like Oprah, CeeLo Green, Goody Mob, Tupac's group The Outlaws, The Dream, and The Dream. She is also the go-to DJ for an impressive list of corporate clients and venues, including the Embassy of Trinidad, Nike, Sephora, NBAF, the High Museum, the Residence at MJQ, and the Mayor's Ball. In 2018, as an official musical ambassador with the U.S. government at Embassy, DJ Princess Cut
That's
taught
okay.
turntable to students in Tashkent, Uzbekistan,
Yes.
with Next Level USA. She continues to connect with her roots, spinning weekly on Atlanta's WHTA Hot 107.9.
Yes.
So, again, thank
you.
So one of the first question we were asking was how everyone got to where they are from where they started. So I'm going to come back to you. I just wanted to make sure
Okay.
you did the introduction. But I wanted to highlight Miss Brittany Newberry as the archivist at Georgia State University. Being able to sit and talk with her about her role at GSU, our director also thought it very fitting to have her on our panel to talk about the importance of collecting and curating and making available archives, in particular what we're talking about with hip hop music. So can you tell us a little bit about how you got to where you are from where you started as a student at your school?
Yeah, it was an accident. So I grew up loving history, but my mom also always played the radio, and she always played hip hop stations. My white mother always played hip hop stations. So I listened to Outkast, Goody Mob, all of that. So I didn't know it would ever become a part of my career. I got into archives because I didn't want to be a lawyer anymore, or at all. I didn't become a lawyer at all. So then I got here after I graduated from grad school, and I started working at the Atlanta University Center and just needed a change. And this position over at Georgia State came open, and I just went with it because of my love of music. I have no musical talent whatsoever, but you don't need that to collect it. So when I got there, we were documenting white men, not even from Atlanta, no women. Like it was bland. So one of the first things I did was start the Atlanta Hip Hop Archives, which is to document the history and development of Atlanta hip hop from the 20th century to present day, and make sure those stories are being told and preserved. So that is my job, and I love that I added it to my job. So I get to work with like 50,000 vinyl records. I'm developing a listening station for students. I'm collecting vinyls from other collectors and adding those to the archive. So we now have a crunk music archive from a collector. We're doing an oral history project with people involved in the community, not just like artists, like mainstream artists, but anyone who's a fan of Atlanta hip hop. We're doing that, and then I'm working with students to spread the word, and I come to things like this and get to meet people.
Thank you for sharing that. Right, we need you in this community. So, Cut, how did you get here, and what was your start?
Okay. I'm like, that is a loaded question. I'm sure everybody felt the same way. I always loved music. My brother did music while I was growing up. And then I kind of, when I was in college, dabbled with playing on turntables and vinyl. Randomly at a bar, just being curious as to what the DJ was doing. And my friends always say, like, oh, you used to say you wanted to DJ, but I don't really remember saying that. I just remember randomly trying it, being bored one summer during college. And once I touched the vinyl, it was like glue. And I was addicted. I was like, this is what, this is electrifying. And so I started on vinyl. And in that same spot, the owner allowed me to do a set after first of all, I was like, hey, can I come back and practice like once a week when nobody's here? He's like, yes, you can come. So I did that. Then eventually the owner let me DJ in there, and I knew I had something when the owner walked by. I was playing like 8-ball and MJG, and the owner walked by like shaking his head with praise, and I was like, okay. So from that, I started DJing there, and then, started doing parties with nobody in them. And I used to DJ those parties and be like, oh my God, when am I gonna have a crowd? Like, when? And then after putting in practice, patience, hard work, following and studying the ones that came before me, I finally had a crowd. And then I went on tour, like maybe 2.5 years after. My first tour was the Outlaws, the Tupac Still Breathing tour, which was very honorable because I felt like Tupac was in our presence, and he was, because I was with the Outlaws. And my first tour was to Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Australia, and Dublin, Ireland. So I just knew I had something. I'm overseas, and it's DJs that have been DJing for years, and they're still exactly where they're from. There's nothing wrong with that, but I just knew I had something special. And then a lot of my older DJ friends would give me their vinyl. And I remember when I got back in town and Silver Knight had gave me, he's like, come get this vinyl before I throw it away, or whatever he wanted to do with it. And I just remember riding around the West End, and I was like, got teary-eyed, because I was like, wow, like, this is crazy. But that's in a nutshell how I started. Then the tours kept going. Eventually I got into radio and started Scratch Out Loud.
Okay, that was going to be my next question.
Okay.
So how did you two come together and say, hey, let's do this, and what was the motivating piece? Like, why are you doing this for the community now?
Eric used to always come out and like support my gigs. I did a nonprofit event with him, and that's how we met. And he used to always come out and like my number one supporter. And I really appreciated it. And he had a lot of people as well as we both had a lot of people asking to learn how to DJ. And after a while, it just became, I'm like, everybody wants to know how to DJ. Like, we need to do something with this. And I knew that he was a good business man, and had a passion for music as well. So I felt like he would be a good business partner to start Scratch Out Loud. And once we both kind of ran the idea past each other, actually, because people were asking him as well. And we just made it a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it was a fun thing because I had an opportunity to go.
Awesome.
So, make an appointment, go, and you have the Sip and Scratch.
Sip and Scratch class, yes.
Go. You're not going to tear up anything because Eric is going to tell you to what? Carefully put the needle down. Yes.
Sip and Scratch is not as technical. It's like, a sip and paint. You can come with your partner, your wife, husband, friends, girlfriends, guy, whoever, and just enjoy a bottle of champagne or juice and just kind of get familiar with the turntables and learn how to mix an instrumental with an acapella.
Biz Marquis and Mary J. I'm just saying. Mary J. Blige, not Mary J. Minister Server. So what role do you play now in the community? Why is there a need for what you have to share with the community? Why do we need to know, like, the spiritual aspect of hip-hop versus just listening to hip-hop, learning the lyrics and all of that?
Great question. I believe that, when we look at hip-hop, the thing that makes it so unique is that there's nothing new about hip-hop. Grandmaster Caz has a quote that he says that hip-hop didn't invent anything, but we reinvented everything. So when I look at, I was on a panel, this probably like 2010, at George Washington University with the United Nations, and it was called Hip-Hop and the United Nations Bridging the Gap. And the United Nations says that hip-hop is the fastest growing culture in the world because it sidesteps any other cultures to express themselves from the unique perspective of the people. Now, I had already known that, obviously prior to that, but when I heard that, it really just sparked that next level. And for me, so I see myself as a keeper of the culture because hip-hop is past, present, and future at the same time. And that's the thing that from doing different events. In fact, I've done events at JB's as well. When I still DJ, I do vinyl as well. and I do a hip hop class 79 to 83, because most people haven't heard those artists from 79 to 83. They may have heard Rapper's Delight and then Run DMC. So it's a number of artists in there. So I think one of the things that is a part of what I do is to keep the cultural continuity. So it's not about, I tell people all the time, I have 6 children, 3 daughters, 3 sons. None of them are rappers, and I'm not dissing the rappers, but it was important for my children to learn the culture, and whatever aspect that they want to be involved in, I knew was going to benefit them. And I tell them all the time, my youngest son just graduated from Gallaudet, and my oldest daughter is 41. And I tell them, I brag about them all the time. The ears are probably ringing right now. And I tell people I have 6 children. They're raised in the culture. They're good people, positive, productive, progressive. And that's what hip-hop lends for you to be. That's what that higher infinite power, healing our people, allows us to do. So I'm honored to be able to share that locally and as well as around the world, because I really think that we're looking for healing in a number of different ways. And music as a modality of healing, we all know music can shift the way you feel any type of time. So for us, like I said, I represent Nation Time Center. You see I'm rocking the Earwax shirt. Big up to Jazz and Earwax. Earwax was a cultural hub. It was a mecca. It was where people came there, whether you was buying something or not, you were hanging out at Earwax because of the cultural continuity. So, I see myself as continuing to do that work as well. As I said, when I DJ spots, I'm always doing vinyl spots, and when I'm playing music, I'm teaching at the same time. That's my background, teaching and counseling and things of that nature. So I think it's really important for our young people to understand the culture beyond entertainment, as you hear me talking about often, because, and this is where we can't blame young people for not knowing what we're not consistently teaching them. Because the corporation made a point to separate the culture from the music. And we've kind of allowed it to get out of hand, and they just recently talking about there's not any songs that are on the top 40 on Billboard, and we're in a culture like, good, maybe we'll get back to some cultural continuity. So I think that's one of the things that Spirit allows me to do, to kind of talk about the culture in the fullness. I know people of every occupation you can think of that would identify themselves as being a part of hip-hop, and they never rapped, they never DJ'd, they never did any of that. But because of the culture, they are who they are.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Great point. Tobago, so you are, can you tell us what the coalition is that you are a part of and why that exists? I believe you both are a part. Tell us more about the coalition.
The coalition is FAM's Coalition. That's the T-shirt I'm wearing here. It's a collective of black-owned record stores around the country. JB's is one of the members in our coalition. So is Darryl from Moods Music here in Atlanta, and also CratesATL that he just opened. There was a need for coming together with black-owned stores, because when I came in the game, I came in literally when I started going to different states and seeing black-owned record stores. We were strong. When I came in the game, we had over 500 record stores, black-owned record stores. Right now, if you go poll physical brick-and-mortar stores, it's under 70. And our Caucasian partners, they're over 1,500 record stores around the country. So it's definitely a need of coming together to just market together, reach out to the community together, to just brand black-owned record stores. It was a narrative that went out, I want to say after the Wall Street crash in 2008, that no one was buying records. It just came, everyone was talking about it. Nobody's buying records, nobody's buying records. And I'm there selling records still selling. When I say buying records, that equate to CDs and cassettes and all of that. And of course, part of it was true, because we were struggling with the bootlegs and the chain stores selling stuff cheaper than what we were buying it for wholesale. So it was really a struggle for the black-owned record stores, but the problem came when they pulled marketing dollars from the stores. So you'll get marketing dollars to, you go to any store, you'll see, even if it's a supermarket, you'll see a big end cap of Kellogg's, or you go into Best Buys, you'll see a whole Hitachi TVs or whatever. Or they get marketing dollars to have that end cap space. We will get marketing dollars the same way. So when they pulled that and the stuff we was dealing with, a lot of black-owned record stores went out of business. So, but they never stopped supporting the financially for other record stores. So they grew, and we digress. So it's important for me especially, and my director Nina, that we push the black-owned record stores. We looking to expand. We just brought in a new store on Monday, Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Congratulations.
Dallas Love Vinyl. We just bought a new member on, and we're looking to grow that so we could expand and bring record stores, our record stores, to our communities.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. And you brought up, yes, congrats on that, the building of the coalition. Going back to something that you said, but for you, JB, what has it taken for you to stay solvent with the change from pre-pandemic to now to marketing dollars?
A second job.
A second, a second job. Yeah. Can you say more about it?
Well, first of all, when you're starting on any business, you figure out what your budget needs to be. But then what I've learned is whatever that number is, you need to double that.
Class.
Because it may be 3 years before you make a profit. And not only does that have to be maintained, but your household has to continue to be maintained too, depending on what your responsibilities are. It has been a struggle, but the burden has been lightened a lot by the coalition. We receive a lot of support from the coalition. There's financial support, but more importantly, there are people that have gone through what you're currently going through that can help guide you through it and lead you through it and kind of help you see the light on the other side. But I think we've been able to maintain through the storm, and each year I see things getting better, you know. But it's just like anything else. It's just a matter of sticking to it as long as you can, you know, and having an attitude of, I'm going to leave it all on the table, no matter what. So then if it blows up and succeeds, or if it crashes and burns, you know that you've done everything that you could do to make it work, and you have, you know, you've given it everything, you know, and that I believe allows you to sleep at night. Yeah.
Can I just chime
I
in?
just,
Absolutely.
you were saying something?
Just real quick, I just want to say, I feel like while you were talking, I'm like, yeah, staying down is kind of like the definition, because had I given up 2 years into those empty crowds, you know, I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So that's all I wanted to say.
I just wanted to piggyback on that, because I thought when you said it was 2.5 years that you went and finally seen some success, and it goes back to what I was saying at the beginning with the flea market. You know, I lost a lot of money starting out when the Olympics was here in '96. They tell us this same Auburn Avenue, we supposed to see 100,000 people here. I spent like $10,000 with getting fees. I'm a numbers guy to see 100,000, and I think it was about 4 days we was down here, and we didn't see 100 people compared to 100,000. You understand? So just piggyback on what JB said, it takes a while to get going in small businesses. You know, some people have the luck of the draw. You're in a great location, great support, you know, but it is tough. And I don't want to leave here without saying that we are getting a lot of support now, especially, you know, people like Warner Brothers and Concord Records, and a lot of the record companies, and also Record Store Day as a company themselves, giving us the start, the linchpin to get the coalition going and stuff like that. So to say that we're working together now and we are getting a lot of support from the industry, it still can be more. But I don't want it to leave here and have you thinking like, okay, we still back there and struggling, grinding. We're doing a whole lot better. We're getting a lot of support financially, not a lot financially, but we're getting a decent amount financially. It could always be better. And we're getting support as far as artists and block parties and in stores and listening parties and stuff to engage the community and as the people as the masses, that is there still is a platform for the physical aspect of music. That's CD, DVD. People is asking for cassettes again now, so we got to start digging up cassettes, finding cassettes of people to purchase. So yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to answer that. There is a lot more support. For us, the issue has always been exposure. And what I mean by that is exposure to people that are interested in buying what we're selling. And as we have events, and we also go out and meet the people where they are. We do pop-ups and things of that nature, and that gets our name out there. But we're still in a space where I can leave and go to another state to an event, and I'll run into someone that lives in the West End that doesn't know we've been over there for 3 or 4 years. You know, so we're getting more people coming in. That has increased significantly, but there's still a lot of work to be done on that end.
And there wasn't as much social media back 20 years ago.
I ain't gonna lie to you, but 20 years ago we was rocking without social media. I'm not
I was
playing.
gonna ask what was like the difference for you.
For me, when I came before a lot of these artists came out. We're going on 32 years in business. So I was explaining to Tony earlier on that Eric, where I get Tony from? Eric, I'm
God bless
sorry,
Tony.
Eric. I was explaining to Eric that, you know, all the artists, we used to meet in the offices of like the Sony buildings and Universal and strategize, okay, well, we're going to bring Killer Mike out. We're going to give it at this price, and we're going to do this and that and that. T.I.'s, all the guys that came out, 2 Chainz, all of them, Jeezy. You would look and see their first album, their first block party, their first ever was with us. And I personally feel this way, that we would blow it up, and then after everybody start hearing about it. Back then, the answer to your question without social media used to be more radio driven. So it was a more emphasis on radio and running commercial and ads and stuff like that, you know?
I believe that I can remember times when you listened to the radio, you couldn't wait to hear what the next thing was going to come. That was a source to know, oh, down here they're going to have this, and down here they're going to have that. But you needed the radio, not the phone.
Yeah. So, but that money we made in 2000 and what is it, 03, 04, you know, I remember we having block parties with 666 Mafia backing up a big trailer to a stage and performing and banner and clips and everything. So back then, you know, when an artist came to the city, came to Atlanta, they had to touch down, like he mentioned, is Airwax or DBS Sounds or North Georgia Compact Disc. You know, these were stores that we was putting in the work. You know, we got out to the events, you know, artists listening parties and stuff like that. So, you know, you have something going on, we come in to support you. Okay, this is a new artist. Let's hear what he's about, what she's about, you know, and then from there now, okay, this record store came and showed support, and then, you know, now when it's time, okay, well, you know what, let's take it to that store that showed support, you know, and we had 3 stores back then too, so we was popping a little bit. We still popping now.
Yeah.
I ain't taking that
We
away.
got Southside on lock.
We got Summer Walker coming Thursday, so we getting to it.
I'm biting my tongue to stay professional. Thank you for sharing that information. We're going to open it up for Q&A after this. But Brittany, I wanted to say, you're not a retailer, right? You're in a key position for the inquisitive, the leftover parts that are still like sponges. So when you were sharing the information about the music, the history of the music, what do you find with the generation of students when it comes to like hip hop collections, anything within the Black diaspora? What do you find as the demand? How are you able to meet it? And if you see that it's something outside of you, especially now that we know this, how would you use that to direct them to support? Because that's the word I think among all of you. I wrote it down when you said it, and I think it's been said at least 4 or 5 times. Support is love. So in the space that you're in, not a retailer, but someone who can plant seeds and direct. What are you seeing is the demand for access to that, or the curiosity of our music? And then what do you do outside of GSU to push them, or what will you do to push them to support more?
Yeah, so my whole goal is making sure students just know what's out there for them. I met a student who was listening to cassettes. Like, he was making his own cassettes. And I was like, oh, you're old school. I'm like, you're younger than me. Like, I didn't even do that. So I was so excited about that, but he didn't seem to know the history. So there's like this lack of like actual knowledge. They seem to think they discovered it.
That's catchy in
So
America.
as an archivist, my job is to, like, you know, teach them about the history so they know. The problem with archives is we don't actually have all the information. A lot, especially with hip hop, it's only a little over 50 years old. The majority of what's in archives is older than that, or it's not caught up with the now, so we're having to work backwards to document it. And then it's like teaching people who have done the work why it should be preserved, why they should preserve their legacy. So if they're not preserving it, I have to then convince them to talk to these researchers, right? Like, talk to them. They want to document this, have scholarship. So I teach how to do oral history interviews, which is sitting down, interviewing people about their life and career, and how that provides context for the documents that may or may not be there. So that way they have the sources to do the research, prove their hypothesis, whatever they're doing. But I also need them to understand we don't have everything, and it's a possibility we won't ever have everything. And my whole goal is just to make sure I'm preserving what I can for the public good so that information is out there. So I do myself go to record stores and go all around, but hip hop's only one part of my job, unfortunately. So I don't have so much time, but I try to like document what I can. And
Thank you. You're appreciated.
I want to just follow up on that too. For a lot of the guests that we have, they're a younger generation. Same sort of situation. They'll ask, "Do you have any?" They'll ask for newer artists. I'll say, "No, we don't." However, when they start digging in there and they start getting into like Salt and Pepper, Snoop's, like some of the, and then they're like, "Oh, that's a sample from," and then they get fascinated and they dig, and so it's eye-opening for them. Looking at the older music, how it brings them back to the newer music, and even like reggae, we get like a lot of people looking like reggae or Afrobeats too. Right. It's the same sort of diaspora and Southern bounce, like Southern hip hop. Like they're all interconnected, and when they hear that, they get excited about that as well.
yeah, most of our vinyl is from the 40s to the 80s, from a radio station that's now just talk radio. So I have students who I play vinyl for every class I teach. I'm currently stuck on Motown because I was excited to find Motown. Right. And so I'll play something and they'll be like, "Is that?" I think someone said it was Summer Walker, and I was like, "No, like, this isn't that. Like, I don't have anything new. All my stuff is old." So we have a great professor at Georgia State who also teaches on the art of sampling and the history of sampling, which is great because students need to know that hip hop has that within it. Like, sampling is a big part of it, and it doesn't have to come from other hip hop music, right? So.
Thank you. I love that. Sometimes my kids too, they'll be playing something. I'm like, hold up, let you hear the original song. And they're like, "Mom, but you're gonna get that education at home." So we're going to open up the next portion for question and answer. We have about 10 minutes left, so I'm going to let you say something too. If you are interested in asking a question, please come up to this mic stand, and we will have a mic for you so you can ask questions. And don't be shy, and don't everyone jump up at once. Go ahead, Tobago.
I just wanted to say there's something that's missing from the music business right now, though, based on what you're talking about a little bit, is that artist development. Like, when I came in the game, it was artist development. You're going to be here on time. This is how long you're going to be staying. This is what, you know what I mean? And right now, you don't see that. So a lot of the newer artists, they don't understand the history of the music and the importance of conducting themselves in a certain way.
Thank you all for your insight. My question is for Tobago. So what's the biggest challenge that the coalition has faced thus far?
I'm a guy I like to be truthful, man. You ain't gonna get no BS from me. Part of it, for me, is working together within the group. And sometimes people come into the group, it's kind of like what I just said about artist development. You know, they don't see the big picture. They don't understand the struggle of what we've been through. You know, someone like this gentleman in the game over 40 years or over 30 years, what we've been through, and you try to get them to see that vision and move a certain way. If I had to say that, I would say is working together within ourselves. That's a challenge for me. And if I had to go after that, is getting support from the record companies on a whole. You know, you have your handful of people that will support you no matter what, but then you have some no matter what you do. You know, it's some people don't matter how much positive work, how much you do. I'm talking record company execs, and you call them, you just know they're not gonna answer the phone. It don't matter what. But when they call, okay, I'm bringing XYZ to your store, you know, they want you to answer the phone right away, call right away. And I'm that rebellious guy a little bit, you know? So if I'm calling you and you're not answering the phone, and whether it could be to my detriment sometimes, well, I'll make you wait a day or two. Lord forgive me. But that's me though. You know, you got to give me some kind of respect, man. And that's the thing with the industry. We as black-owned record stores do not get the support. Let's put it as we should.
Thank you.
I'm going to say, just off of that, it's like our relationships are like our currency. And so, like, that's valuable currency, having those relationships. It's more valuable than money sometimes. And the one thing I know, we have like 6 degrees of separation from everyone in here, and it's just building those relationships over the years. That's super valuable. Yeah.
Hi, and also thank you all for coming and presenting to us about what you do. So my question is, what are your current efforts in making your presence known, and in particular the black-owned bookstore? I'm sorry, the black-owned record store owner. And I'm asking this question because I have a 19-year-old daughter who surprised me last year when she was going away from college, and she ordered a record player, and she ordered vinyl records. And I was shocked because we never had these discussions about this music and as far as records or cassettes or anything. Now, she is a graduate of Tri-Cities High School, and she was in the chorus, yeah. So maybe that had something to do with it, but I was really shocked that she set it up in her room, and she's at Georgia Southern University, and she plays her music, her records. So I thought about the appeal to the younger generation, number one, and then what are the efforts that you are currently making to make your presence known?
For me, is we do it all. You come in the store, we'll take your information. We do text blast, e-blast, social media, all of them, with the exception of, well, we on TikTok too a little bit. So it's social media, word of mouth. I'm trying to think. But I do want to say something to you, though, based on your daughter purchasing the turntable and stuff like that. What I've seen in my store, the majority of consumer purchasing vinyl is young black women. I'm telling you, they are the one that coming in. They love it. They support it. Granted, you know, we cater to everybody, but the majority of people coming in. So it's mostly social media. If we run in a promotion, with a record company, if we're doing an install or something like that, then there will be radio spots being ran, but every way to get information to the consumer, we do that.
Thank you.
We do the social media. We've done terrestrial radio. We've done newspapers as well. We do a lot of pop-ups. You can catch us at 2 or 3 different places every week off campus. So we do Monday Night Brewery on Monday nights. We're there for a controller rise. This coming weekend, we're going to be at Halfway Crooks for another DJ event. We're there. We're always in the community. And we found that is our best marketing tool. It's just to simply meet them where they are. Very much word of mouth. We've grown our IG following by over half in the last year. Thanks to a coalition bringing in artists like Mumu Fresh and Chance the Rapper, that has grown our visibility significantly. We are doing absolutely everything that we can. We have a jazz night every first Friday night. We have an open mic every fourth Saturday. We have a floating open mic every month. We brought in lecturers like Kaba Kamane. He's turned the place out. We have movie night. We have book signings. You name it, we do it.
I got a title for you, man. I say to everybody, I told her that the hardest working guy here is JB's. JB's work hard, man. Y'all really support him. That guy put in the work, man. Proud of you, my brother.
I stand corrected. You're right.
I just want to chime in, just like to answer more of your question as far as the DJ school. Like we pride being a safe space for women as well. So that's like a niche, which is a very true niche, because I am a woman, but you know, women and going into studio spaces and various music rooms can feel intimidated, or often attention is on them for the wrong reason. So at Scratch Out Loud, we are definitely a safe space for women as well.
Very good to know. And I can attest to that, because even the location where you are, if you don't know that area or the building, I felt comfortable. I felt safe. There are a lot of female other industries within that business, and even your demeanor. I would say there's a in the industry as it is, there are a lot of hungry people, and when you can go into a place, go in and come out, and not feel like prey in any way,
right,
where the conversation is refreshing and about business nowhere else. I can attest for these individuals as a woman, that these are safe places for me, but that's very important. Very important. Thank you for sharing that.
Sure.
We have one more question before we close out. When we do close out, I want to know how we can all get in touch with you and how we can best support you.
How's everybody doing? I want to thank y'all for coming out. Really appreciate this. It's a great panel. Like most of us, I grew up in the hip hop area. I'm from Philly, so the whole DJ Jazzy Jeff, DJ Cash Money, they're from my neighborhood. So I literally was carrying crates to, cars for a lot of those guys. But I heard Tobago mention about cassettes and CDs and things like that, which to me is like yesteryear. So are you guys ever worried about the demand being greater than the technology? Because, I don't know. I don't see a lot of cassette players being sold anymore, or boom boxes or things. So do people ever come to your store wanting that things but don't really have a place to play it?
They are selling cassettes players still and CD players still. We bring in a couple, 2 or 3 at a time at the store. As far as the cassette players and stuff, people still want the Walkmans on their head, so they are still selling them, cassettes and CDs. And they come in and ask for it. I don't want to be honest, house it. I really don't, because now you're carrying a whole bunch of stuff and not knowing what's going to sell, but they're asking for it, and it's good to see like new artists artists that came back out, like I want to say Raekwon, Mobb Deep, I think Jid, a lot of these artists that's coming out now, they putting their album on cassettes. Killer Mike was the first one I saw, in the urban area for his album Michael, he put on cassette as well. So, but trust me, It's selling. And when we go to conferences, it's no longer SoundScan that tracks the music sales. It's a company called Luminate. And they put the data up there, and you will see like cassettes is up 15% or 3%, and CDs is up 15%. So the numbers justify us bringing it in, and it's still selling.
Oh, great. Can I have one more question? Quick one.
Go ahead, sir.
I just saw this today, and I was just curious what everybody's opinion was. With this AI music, you know, in the Billboard's top 10 today, like, what is your opinion on that? What do you guys think about that technology and music not even being produced, obviously, by humans, by the voices are just all AI generated?
Well, I mean, I'll answer that. I mean, just for us, there's nothing like a physical medium. And so you can have all the AI that you want. People still want to feel an actual and open up a vinyl, take out a record, place it on a physical turntable. You can't necessarily do that with AI, to my knowledge. I don't think you can. And so that's something that you can't replicate with AI, that you can't replicate with AI.
Well, what he's saying is that now they're creating, like they will create
like
a person, and their stuff is in Billboard. I'm thinking it's going where they will be pressing the record, will be pressing the CD of that artist and selling it. So it's not good to me at all, because it's taken away from a physical person. It's kind of like you go to the grocery store, now all this automated stuff, you can't even talk to anyone while you're checking your item out. And it looking like that's where the industry is going. You know, I heard one AI, I could be wrong on the name, is Zendaya or something like that. I think got like a $3 million deal for AI artists that don't exist. So it's no bueno. It's no good. Not good at all.
And if I could add on to that, you know, it just goes into the mindset. There's always been a battle since 1979 with hip-hop corporation and hip-hop culture. So the corporations don't care about the people. They never will care about the people. They would do anything that they can to get the bottom line, which is money. And that's what the AI, so those of us that represent the culture, we are 100% against that, because again, we have enough talent of real people that we don't need machines creating anything for us.
Technology is not going anywhere. AI is not going anywhere. But let me say this. No matter what Billboard says, and that's assuming Billboard and what their opinion is important. It's Billboard. They're in the business of selling advertisement, so they're going to say things that are salacious. They're going to say things to try and drive opinion. But the reality is, people want something they can feel. They want the hair on their arm to stand up. They want to feel it inside. And as convenient as digital is, we've seen vinyl come back around to the point where it's outsold digital downloads for at least the past 3 years. And what I mean by that is the selling of LPs, full albums, has outsold the download of full albums for the past 3 years. So what is that saying? That's saying that people want something tangible no matter what. You know, so trends come and go, and that's fine. But it also means that artists are going to have to do a better job and be more diligent in how they treat themselves as a brand and you know, and as a business. And what I mean by that, I heard Exhibit. He was being interviewed, and Exhibit was talking about AI and the takeover of AI as artists. And he said that actual artists are going to have to start trademarking their image, and their voice, because that's what AI is using. They're using actual voices. Right. And we're gonna have to lobby and insist that things that are AI generated are watermarked, so then the audience can have a choice in what they're receiving. And I think that's the way to go. We're gonna just have to be more diligent about our business and how we treat ourselves as a brand.
And just one thing to add to that, they put some good quality music out too. You know, a lot of artists now with this microwave society, I'm looking at some of these albums now, it's like 30 minutes long, you know? So Right. The songs is a minute and a half, 2 minutes, so artists gonna have to step their game up too to put a good quality product out there to entice the consumer that I want to support you, you know?
Thank you all so very much. Thank you for your question, sir. Real quick, before we close out, if all of you could just go down the row and tell us how to get in touch with you, whether that be your social media handles or brick and mortar locations.
So you can find out about the Atlanta Hip Hop Archives by Googling Atlanta Hip Hop Archives. I also have postcards, speaking of physical, that have a QR code and more information and an image from the archive. So feel free to talk to me after. And I want your story, so talk to me anyway.
Thank you.
You can follow JB's at JB's Record on IG. That's JBS Record on IG. If you can't remember that, www.jbsrecordlounge.com. We are in the West End, the corner of Abernathy and Lowry, right across the street from the Goodwill. We share a parking lot with Soul Vegetarian.
Very thorough.
Well, I would love if you would follow FAMS Coalition. It's FAMS Coalition. FAMS Coalition, first and foremost, is the collective of our stores. And the next is DBS Sounds. That's DBS, SOUNDS. It's dbssounds.com. DBS Sounds on Facebook. If you're on IG, it's DBS Sounds ATL. All right, thank you.
You can contact me on IG or Facebook. I'm on TikTok, but not really. Minister Server, MINISTERSERVER. Email hiphopbridgebuilders@gmail.com. We do a number of different work with individuals, communities. Our thing is to connect the culture beyond just rap music and entertainment. Or
Right. You can find us at Scratch Out Loud, all socials. We're located right here in Castleberry, inside Concept House. Scratch Out Loud, all socials. And ScratchOutLoud.com, IG, some TikTok as well too.
And you can find me, all my social media is at DJ Princess Cut, spelled just like that, no Z, S, nothing extra. It's not cuts, it's just DJ Princess Cut. All social media, my website is sweetboxjones.com, it's my alias. And you can hear me spinning Wednesdays and Saturdays on 107.9. Wednesdays at noon to 1 o'clock. Saturdays 11 a.m. for the Mimosa Mix. So noon. First Fridays at MJQ. On tour with CeeLo Green and just Neiman Marcus. I'm their resident DJ. Thanks, Eric.
Support.
I'm their resident DJ as well. And I do Spaceman, Rooftop, and Buckhead. I try to list everything on my Instagram. So.
Minister Server.
I also forgot to add, we also in collaboration, Hip Hop Bridge Builders, do a collaboration here with the Auburn Avenue Research Library. Big up to Victor. We do a thing called Classic Rap Videos and Combos, where we show videos from the 80s and 90s, and so we just have a conversation about what was going on culturally, politically. So big up to the Auburn Avenue Research Library. We've been working with them for 25 years, so big up to them, no doubt.
Thank you all so much for joining this panel and online. Thank you all.
And also, I just want to shout out JB and Tobago. They've been like around since I started, you know. So I ain't seen JB in forever.
I want to shout out Shakia for putting this together.
Yeah.